Hello, happy Sunday. Oh my gosh, I should have shaved. Well, too late now because we're live. Hey, Sherry, hey, Christopher. Yep, I think I should have shaved. Shaved, I should have. Let's get this in the group. And how is everybody tonight? Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. Let's see. Live on YouTube. Oops. Can't spell YouTube. So, and here we go. Okay. Oh my gosh. A bunch of you signed in while I was sharing. Hey, Ashley, message retracted. Hey, Joshua, Deb, Santi, Addie's in the house. Misty, hello. Hi, Nancy. Hi, Rob. Hi, Rex. Street Sweeper, hello. You know, I think I fixed the light issue, and now what it was is I can like dim it, but it's a software app. Vicky's in the house. And I wasn't thinking like that last week, so we had some ins and outs. Eddie, what's wrong? Oh my gosh. Hey, Paul. Hey, Mohammed. Teresa, hello. Alex, I'm doing good. Thanks for asking. Ghosts. Derek's talking about ghosts. So Derek, finally, if you haven't seen yet, go to the channel. There's a VR 180 video that features Derek. I'm going to start uploading some other interviews starting tomorrow morning from the tent city. I was waiting for that one to get up to kind of lead the way. So if you know what, where am I? So I should have looked this up anyways, because next Sunday, am I traveling? No, next Sunday I will be in San Jose. So maybe I'll have Derek as a guest, and you guys can all ask him questions and get an update. That's, of course, if I can figure out the technology, because last time I tried to do that with Derek, it didn't work so well, and Derek might not even want to do it. So hey, Dan, I'm sorry. Oh my gosh. And what are you doing? My mom's dog's doing all kinds of crazy stuff. So I don't know if you guys have been paying attention to the news, but it is getting really strange. I've been doing this homeless service thing for quite some time. First, I was homeless, and now I work to help homeless people. And I've got to say, I've never seen it like this. It is, and it's part of the sign, and I'm not going to get into politics. It's part of what's going on in this country. There's this polarization. Some people want the world green, and some people want it orange, and nobody will talk about it. There's no compromise. That seems to be happening in every conversation, not just homelessness. But this, about 6 years ago, and I'll tell you the story. So I was, if you do not know, there's two models to end homelessness. Well, there's a lot of different models, but there's two primary ones. There's shelters, you know, people that run shelters. We all know about shelters. And then there's housing. Get somebody from the streets or in a shelter into housing. Shelters don't necessarily end homelessness. They just maintain homelessness. Shelters are important. They're an important part of a community-wide system. There is value in homeless shelters, but without housing, you can't end homelessness. But the problem with housing is, so you have a homeless person here and you have housing here, right? And there's this whole industry in between. And I'm not one of these conspiracy theorists thinking the homeless industry is trying to create homelessness. That's ridiculous. I do believe the homeless industry should be very conscious of perpetuating itself, and this might be one example. So you have people that work in that in between, and that's where shelter operators are. They get their funding to maintain shelters, and then add into that the faith-based, which is mostly rescue missions. And I'm going to be very candid. What rescue missions do is they want to get you in a 30-day emergency program, kind of like a feeder program. Some of them are 30 days, some of them are shorter. They're usually around 30 days. And if you don't go into their Bible program, you're kicked out. And for like 14 days. So the one that I know of that I just visited, well, I didn't visit the shelter, but I was in Columbia, South Carolina. It's 30 days in and 14 days out. So you're a shelter and you go in for 30 days. And if you have two choices after that 30 days, if you don't decide to go into the Bible study program, then you have to go back outside for 14 days. And this goes back and forth. So you have, if we go from streets directly to housing, it wipes out all the rescue missions Bible study programs. And that's how they raise money. That they raise money to win the loss. They don't raise money to end homelessness. They raise money to feed homeless people so that they can get homeless people into their Bible study program. And I know this firsthand. I'm not making it up. I was executive management of a large rescue mission for 4 years. I have been inside many rescue missions. It's just the world that it is. And I'm a Christian. I just don't believe, so here's the thing to me. If Jesus is all that great, and I believe he is, then why do we have to coerce people and trick people into Bible study? It should be free choice, right? Anyways, not going into religion. So here is this, I'm trying to paint the picture that you have these people that are just vested into shelters. All they want is shelters. And that's all we've had for hundreds of years. I mean, up until the 80s, basically it was 3 hots and a cot and a Bible and some soup, and people got their lives back together. A couple things happened. You had crack cocaine. Now you have heroin, you have meth. Homelessness isn't the same as it was when people mostly just had alcohol. And in the 80s, the Reagan administration not completely, but they cut $15 billion worth of affordable housing funding. And you add that, and that is the reason we have the homelessness we have today. So here's the thing. Again, I'm painting this picture. You guys paying attention? I'm painting this picture of you have this division of shelter people and housing people. So it first came to my attention. I was at the National Alliance to End Homelessness Conference, and they were playing the movie. Also, in the link below, there's a link to the movie about me. So they were, the National Alliance brings homeless people in. They don't do anything with them. They really, that's a whole nother rant. But anyways, I was at the movie, the movie about me, and there was a woman that came up almost in tears, said that she was in a session about housing, and she mentioned she works at a shelter and they made her feel bad. And I can see that happening on both sides. I can see shelter operators looking down at housing operators and housing people looking down at shelter people. I can see it happening. So I wrote a post, I think it's on Huffington Post, 7 years ago about this division. And it's not shelters or housing, it's shelters and housing. It's shelters and housing, not one or the other. Now you add, the shit has hit the fan. Homelessness is an extreme crisis in most every city in the United States. So there's not enough. The affordable housing crisis isn't going to be fixed anytime soon. It's just not. So the public is freaking out. They are seeing more tents on the sidewalk. They're seeing more homelessness, more drug addiction, more. You know what? There was 1.3 million children under the age of 6 homeless last year. Do you think they've got mental illness and addiction? Not yet. They might if we don't help them. But this idea that all homeless people are addicts or have mental illness is just whacked. It's not the truth. So now you have shelter operators that this division, because the public is, I believe, pushing this. The public doesn't want homeless people outside. I don't want homeless people outside. I hope you don't want homeless people outside, but the public just wants them out of sight. And the political pressure, because there isn't enough housing and there's not going to be any housing tomorrow. So the shelter people are now really advocating, at least in Los Angeles, I'm sure in other cities too, for more shelters. They're using it to spread fear. Instead of saying, let's work together with the housing people, they just want to build these tents. And, more tents is a good thing. We need more shelters. But if you don't build housing to go with it, or find vacant properties that you can turn over, or figure out a way of building tiny homes or tiny cottages, or some way to get the person out of the tent into housing, you're just warehousing people. So not sure if you saw, but this last week, the Trump administration was in Los Angeles, and they're looking at ways to force. You know what? Force. You can't force. Would you please force me to lose weight? Could you please force me to exercise? Come on. You can't force people to do anything. So they're going to force homeless people into these federal facilities. And everybody's like freaking out that, that it's a Trump thing, but just a couple weeks earlier, top 2 Democrats in the state of California were also advocating, but they're using really cool, sexy language. They're saying that they had, obligation to use. So they're pushing for more shelters with an obligation to use. And the one mayor of Sacramento actually unpacked that a little bit. And he came right out and a couple of times said, if they don't go into the shelter, they're going to, arrest them. Shelters suck. Shelters flat out suck. Oh my gosh. If anything, it should be a temporary triage. But this battle between housing and shelters is growing. And it's like the Trump administration is supposed to come back to LA. There is the Supreme Court upheld a law about criminalization and people's belongings. And there's even a movement in LA to try to get that throne overturned. It's crazy. It is really, really crazy. I just want to, and then I'll go and try to catch up on the comments. It looks like you're all having a party without me, right? Is anybody listening? That's how this all started. Is I used to produce shows for those of you and I would notice that Sherry just says I'm listening and chatting. It's getting. I really want to make this perfectly clear. We can end homelessness. We can end homelessness tomorrow if we wanted to, if there was the political and public support. We could end homelessness tomorrow, if there was the political and public support. But there's not. In fact, it's getting crazy. It is getting insane. Instead of going to ending homelessness, we're going away from ending homelessness. And that is really, 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 really scary. Really scary. Oh my gosh, infected. Thank you so much. And on that one, rant over for now. And I'm going to try to catch up on some of the comments. What'd I miss? Okay, where we are. Somebody give me a synopsis or one of them executive summaries of the chat. Hey, Jedi, the immigrants aren't in the homes in Los Angeles. In fact, there is 200,000 vacant homes in Los Angeles right now. And what it is people are buying apartments as investments, and they're not living in them. There's enough apartments in Los Angeles to house every homeless person 4 times over. Don't blame it on the immigrants. I'm going to go there. You guys got me in rant mode tonight. The families that are leaving war atrocities and crossing the border are not crossing the border and renting luxury condos, driving up housing costs. If you really look at immigration, immigrants come to this country, they start businesses that hire Americans, and they pay taxes. There's more taxes paid by immigrants than what it costs. So please don't make comments, like, oh, if all the immigrants left, then there'd be room for, because it's not true. It's not true. The immigrants now are in horrible tent camps on the border, which is what Trump wants to do with homeless people. The more that you guys talk about this encampment stuff, the more it's going to happen to Americans. Please stop. Please stop the immigrant stuff. I get it. We have an immigration problem. We've had an immigration problem for years. But these are human beings. They're not these illegal aliens. They're human beings. And we got to figure out a compassionate way that makes fiscal sense to be able to integrate people that want to come to this country. And if you're talking about terrorism, there's been a whole lot of gun shooting done by white people, right? Ain't no terrorists crossing the border. Anyways, that should have brightened up the chat room now, shouldn't it? Is that the Sam Smith? Is that you, Sam? Candace, that's exactly true. I mean, nobody wants homeless housing. Nobody wants affordable housing. Nobody wants anything near them. Hey, jailbaits, Republican, Democrat, doesn't matter. Homelessness is our problem. Poverty is our problem. Immigration is our problem. We are Americans. Stop the division. And if you want to talk about Democrats lying, it's documented that Trump, the king Republican, has lied over 2,000 times. Prove it. Prove it. My favorite is when he was campaigning, he said he would never golf. He would tweet against Obama because occasionally Obama went to play golf, and Trump said he would never, ever golf if he was in office. So you want to talk about Democratic lying? And you know what? They're both stuck on stupid. There's so much political maneuvering and power plays that both the Democrats and Republicans don't seem to be working for me. I don't feel that they are. I don't think it's a Republican Democrat thing. I think they're all just messed up, right? And we have to stop the division. We have to stop the division. Yeah, we're never all going to agree, but we got to stop this negativity towards one side or the other side. So somebody's asking about, hey, Brian's World. I have not been able to get over to Ithaca this year. I've messaged with Carmen a few times. I just haven't been able to. It's been closed like most homeless camps, and it reopened. So I don't know the current status. I really wanted to get there, but I'm not going to be able to make it happen. Thanks, Derek. It's funny. You should ask that just now because her dog's doing something. I had a fun. Oh my gosh! So the other night, mom's dog. I keep you probably, one of the reasons I didn't shave, and you could probably see in my eyes are all puffy. I'm allergic to dogs. So she wants to come up and sleep with me, and I can't have a dog sleep with me. No. So I put this barrier up, and she got past it, and it was raining outside. So she was probably scared of the thunder. Right. And so I hear the dog in the room. It's 2 a.m. I get up, I turn on the lights, and there she is shitting on the floor. So I grab the dog. It's pouring rain. We go outside, and I throw her outside. Then I go and build a barrier, let her back in, and she gets past that barrier again, right? And then I built it again, and she got past again. So finally, I built like a really, Chinese wall to the bedroom, and the dog obviously stayed downstairs. But then when I got up in the morning, it was mad at me. And, just like most women that, she rules the house. And the dog wouldn't talk to me. It wouldn't go outside. So now I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? It's going to crap and pee inside all the time. And So I tried tricking it with food. I got the good food. I got the snacks. I got everything. Nothing. The dog was just not going to have anything to do with me. So then I grabbed some Chinese food, and I had an egg roll, piece of an egg roll. And I grabbed the egg roll and I tricked her. And the egg roll got her to go outside. And ever since, she's been on my lap and all great. In fact, too great, because now my eyes are puffy. So that's a day in the life of Mark. Addie, I wish. I'm actually trying to find people to take the dog. There's a couple from Mom's church that might take her that are looking at it. So I'm hoping. And the reason is, I'll be honest, I don't want to be here alone, but I'm starting to travel a lot again. And it's not fair to leave the dog in a kennel. Hey, Jedi, see you later. Wow, there's a lot of you in the chat tonight. I mean, it's cruising. If you want to get my attention, please tag me, because I'm not going to be able to read these. They're going so fast. Lady T's in the house. Hey, Sherry, it's a mutt. People say it's a Shih Tzu. I don't know. It's 99% of the time really wonderful. The only problem is that because she is a rescue dog, my dog got her from the pound. The dog doesn't want anything to be around her face. So to get her groomed, you have to sedate her. And I've just learned that is not something you can easily do and make an appointment for. So I did say tag and I'd see you. So I do see your comment. There are some things that happened to me when I was homeless that I'm taking to my grave. Sorry. I understand the question, but there's things that I did to survive that I don't even want to remember, much less talk about. Now, if you click down below in the description, there is a documentary about me and how this all started. Milka is in the house. Hello. Image collections. Did I get bummed? Ha ha ha. Sherry, thank you. It just comes with homelessness. I think we all have memories in our life that we don't want to either bring up or talk about. It doesn't necessarily have to do with homelessness. We've all gone through some kind of trauma. So, hey, Jay, you know what? You're going to kill me on this one. What's your favorite state? So I've never been to Hawaii. And the only reason I haven't been to Hawaii is because nobody's asked me to go there. And Hawaii is the one place, if I went there and said I was working on homelessness, all the people on social media would be going, yeah, right, you're there doing Hawaii, right? So I'm waiting till somebody sends me there. That way I can duck all the negativity. It's tough. I love California. I love California because I love Los Angeles. I'm not a big fan of the deserts. If you drive up the 5 to the Grapevine, I'm not a big fan. If you drive up Highway 1, which is my 4th favorite drive, if you drive up Highway 1, It's beautiful. It is beautiful. But to have money, I mean, to live up there, you've got to have lots of money. I don't have any money. So I like New York State. I love Seattle. I don't spend a lot of time in Florida. I am going to be in Miami this coming week. So really good question. I don't think there is a perfect place. So you can pick any city or any state, and you can find good and bad about them, bad about it. And I think wherever it is that you are, that's where you got to love, you know? And for me right now, as I said that, I was like, yeah, so I'm in Binghamton, New York, and I hate Binghamton, New York. I will never love Binghamton, New York. I couldn't wait to get out of here. So I take that back. Wherever you are, you got to love. Well, you know, I'm hoping to get back to Los Angeles someday. I don't know how. I don't know if I could ever afford to live in Los Angeles, but that is where my heart is, and it's where the most impact that I can have in helping homeless people. Great questions, guys. Do I ever pick sides? I don't get that even as a joke. So private V4113Z. I'm just laughing over another question. Good question. I think a lot of people think that. And you ask thoughts on moving homeless people to open land where they build their own house and live off the food and land, free water, free fish, vegetables. You know what? That would be great. There's a gentleman, a homeless friend of mine. His name's Sam. I thought maybe he was in the group tonight in the chat. That is something Sam would do. It's not something I would do. I love the fish, but if I had to live off my fishing, well, maybe that's my diet. You know, it makes, you know, people say a lot, well, why doesn't everybody live together? Why don't they just pool their money? How do you do roommates? I lived in a homeless shelter for 7 years. I hate roommates. Because I've lived in a homeless shelter for so long. You know, what you're suggesting is basically communal living. And occasionally people will offer, they'll say, I got land, I want to give it. Well, if it's not by a bus route or someplace where they can go and get work, then you've got to provide food and dishwashing towels and laundry detergent and everything else. It's, you know, and it's a unique person. There are people that want to go and live as survivalists. That's not me. I don't think it's a lot of people. So that's the answer to that one. Hawaii does have a huge homeless problem. True American story. Don't know who you are, but I am not going to touch the James Worthy question. Sorry. Or James Worley. Sorry. Hey, Anna. Hello. Yeah, Jay. I can't do it. You know, it happens a lot when people, and I'm not going to go into the Yang thing, when people talk about, you know, the universal basic income where 1,000 isn't enough, they go, well, they could pool their money. Well, I don't do roommates well. And if I did pool my money with somebody, it might last 6 months, maybe a year. Then we're fighting. Somebody's going to be stealing something and I'm back homeless again. So the things like homeless people moving to land and fishing and hunting or pooling their money, they're not bad thoughts. They're just not realistic. That's not how people are. That's not how people are. Say, Jay, what's interesting, I used to love camping. There's a state park about 20 miles up from here. I used to spend summers up there. Oh my gosh. Even I'm going to be dating myself here, but we used to hide sleeping bags in garbage bags, and we would hitchhike up there growing up. And we call it, when we'd be drinking, and we called it Yogi Berra. And I don't know if you remember the cartoon, Hey Boo Boo, gonna go get us a picnic basket. And so we would hitchhike up to the state park, and we would go steal people's food out of their cooler. And I did that until one time I was camping and somebody lifted all the food out of my cooler, and I felt that pain, and I never did it again after that. But my point is, after homelessness, I don't camp. I want a shower. I want a toilet. I want a microwave. Oh. Hey, Paul, there is solutions to homelessness, and you're right. Everybody's unique, but we all, I mean, I don't know what particular angle you're going from, but you're probably meaning that, there's going. My dog, what are you doing? Please take this dog. There are nomadic people. There are nomadic people that just want to live off the grid. That's not homelessness. That's a choice. But for homelessness, we can, and what we can do, and I do like functional zero. If you're not familiar with functional zero, I don't like how it's messaged, but I do like the concept. So the concept is, if you have 100 homeless people, you have 100 apartments for them ready to go. And so the theory is, you're never going to truly end homelessness. But if we work to prevent it, we're going to catch most people entering into homelessness. And then if somebody does happen on the streets, if have the right amount of resources, we can quickly move them off the streets into a shelter, into a home. So in effect, we can end homelessness. We can do it. So according to the HUD count, which is a whole nother rant, there's around 550,000 homeless people. According to the post office, there's 450,000 churches. That is a small number. Both are small numbers, actually, because not all churches represented, not all homeless people been counted. But you have 550,000 homeless people and 450,000 churches. That's pretty simple math, if you ask me. And talking about realism, it's not realistic that the church is going to open their door and to people that are severely drug addicted or have mental illness. But that church congregation can help donate money and support a facility to provide the care that person needs. In effect, the American evangelical church could end homelessness tomorrow. So, Blockanese, it's not the reason. We're humans. So I don't know how many people in here have gone to college where you roomed in a dorm. It might last a year or 2 years. People are different. The gentleman just said, we're all unique. We're all different. So let's say I'm a homeless person and I get $1,000 a month, and there's another homeless person and he gets $1,000 a month. And we go and we rent a studio apartment for $1,200. That gives us each, $400 left? that for food and cigarettes and beer and movies and internet and phone and clothes and transportation. So that's not a whole lot of money. And what happens if he doesn't put the mayonnaise jar, or they don't buy? I'll give you a great example. I can't believe I remember this. So I lived in a shelter for 7 years, and they would pair you up with people. Oh my gosh. And for whatever reason, now back then I had come out of the television industry. So I did not want to watch TV. I wanted nothing to do with TV. And for what I like music. So whatever reason, there's an old man, they called him Pops. And again, here's where, you just can't force people. So there's this hippie dude, Hippie Dave, that had a van. He was driving through Florida, saw Pops in a park, talked Pops into going in the van to this ministry where I lived in California, Los Angeles. So basically, this dude named Dave picked up a homeless man who was 87 years old in a park in Florida and drove him all the way to Los Angeles. So Pops didn't even want to be there. He didn't want to, whatever. He probably was drunk when Dave talked him into the van. He didn't even want to be there. So Pops was this little short guy, right? And they mirrored us together. And Pops, old people are like this. They don't like to bathe. I don't know if it's because they're worried if they're going to slip and fall, but they don't like to bathe. And Pops was smelling. I mean, he was, and I would try everything. I would leave soap bars on his bed. I would, thank you for reminding, because this is the story I'm going to tell whenever somebody says, well, why don't we just room people together? I would try everything. Other people, the leaders of the ministry would try to talk Pops in the shower, but he just, he was an old guy and stuck in his ways, and he just didn't want to shower. So, and he would sit and have this TV at the end of the bed, and it would just be blaring. So I came into the room, and it smelled so bad. I walked over, I just thinking about this makes me laugh. I opened up the window and I said, Pops, you've got to take a shower. Now he's really short, probably 5 foot, right? And I'm 6 foot. I mean, probably 4 something. And he jumps up on the bed. And he starts going, come on, you fucker. Come on, you fucker. And he's going to fight me. He's this 87-year-old short guy, and he's so pissed off. Anyways, they had to move me and Pops because it was escalating. We probably spent maybe 3 weeks together. And that's why, and there's probably worse stories and better stories, but that's why, oh no, the focus went. Uh-oh. What happened with the focus? There we go. Cool. Lenore, I am in Miami next week, but not Jacksonville. I would like to. Jeff on homelessness is not a choice. So Blackanese, the Army's a little different, I think, because you obviously have a different infrastructure, and you have leadership, and you have to listen to your leaders, where but it's just not it's not sustainable. You could pair people up for a short amount of time, but we need solutions to end homelessness. Plus, a lot of people on the streets, I'm 24 years off the streets, and I still have significant problems from being homeless. And what's going to heal is privacy. So I get it. Yeah, no. Yeah. Addie, just remove people like that. I saw you block somebody a couple of times, hit his message. Just those are the people you just get out of here so you can, keep the room healthy. And everybody, Addie comes in and she's in an apartment now, so she's no longer homeless, but every week she's here moderating the chat. Derek helps, a few others come in and help. But let's give a huge round of applause for Addie. She does a great job. Hey, Sherry, keep reminding me. We'll see. It's Kesha. Hello, hello. Well, Sherry, the people that are modding here are part of our homeless support group. I know Glenn. It's my one addiction. Well, my second addiction is Dasani, and it's really made by Coca-Cola and pho. I love Vietnamese food. Well, so haters never prosper. No, there's a point where drugs take over, where you're not even thinking or like a normal person, or you're too embarrassed. Often people that are on drugs will shun their family because they're too embarrassed. They don't want people to see them in that state. And that plays a big part of it. S. Vorzan. I'm not really addicted to Dasani. But it is my water of choice. The way they filter it, there's something about their filtering. I just like the taste of it over other ones. Worcester, Ohio in the house. Hi, Kim. Exactly, Sherry. I know, but it's good New York tap water, Max. Jojo. Well, then I must like microscopic plastic parts. It's funny because there's somebody on the internet, and I always get a kick out of this, and those of you that have experienced the homeless might agree with me. But there's people that are germaphobes, right? And I get it. You have common sense, right? But there's people that wear masks on planes. And somebody had posted something about it, and then there was these comments on it, and I said, I ate out of dumpsters for a year and I never got sick. Swear to God. And I never washed my hands. I was homeless. And I'm jumping into dumpsters, chowing like it's no tomorrow, going through garbage. Never once got sick. So to all the germaphobes out there, think about that. So, Blockany, great question. And if you look down below, there's a link to Housing First. It's a homeless veteran that I help house, help explain it. First of all, we've had several Democratic debates. Nobody mentioned housing. I mean, they mentioned other stuff, but they didn't mention housing. Housing is a crisis. I mean, rents have gone up 75% in the last 5 years. Phoenix, Arizona is one of the worst hit. It's not just an LA thing, wherever you live. So it is a serious, serious crisis. People are paying, as Matthew Donovan says, who wrote the book Evicted, he said, rent eats first. So if you get a paycheck and rent's due and you don't have enough for food, rent eats first. So it's a crisis. Right now, there's more people entering into homelessness than getting out of it. That's a horrible crisis. Horrible. So without housing, we can't end homelessness. It's that simple. Without more affordable housing, homelessness is going to increase. It's that simple. It really is. That's why if you go to Invisible People .tv/ get involved, send an email to your state and federal legislators. It does matter. We need more housing, plain and simple, all the way around. It's crazy. Cool. JM, so they raised rent on you and so they paid it. Great. Hey, Vicky, have a good night. Hey, pay it forward. Is it you, James? Because what was the other one? American something, whatever. Sounds like you. Okay, we're winding down to the last 5 minutes. We are winding down to the last 5 minutes. And I'm not going to sing. Oh, that's an interesting one.
There's no incoming call.
So I will be around next Sunday. So we will be doing this next Sunday. Wow, Candace said watching Invisible People made him pay off his mortgage. Wow. Kim's getting into housing. Woo! I got to come out and do an update. Hey, Jamie, I will be in Austin. I'm headed to Miami. Then I am off to what? Derek, from the video? So I'm off to Miami, then San Jose, and then Austin. Hey, Robert, I do keep a little bit of contact with her. I haven't for a while, though. To be totally honest, I know Cooper. I occasionally text with Cooper, and Cooper is in contact with her. So, Carol, I know a friend in the homeless services that would disagree with you. Not that homeless service, a homeless mom who does not, had huge problems in Austin trying to get support. Yeah, that's serious. Talking about Heather, Robert. Oh, wow. That's cool, Carol. I don't see that working a lot, but I'm glad it worked for you and worked for the couple. I wish it would happen more. Yeah, Scarecrow, that homeless guy is actually in this chat room. Derek is in this chat room. And just so y'all know, I've seen photos of Derek's boat, which is a very nice boat that only somebody who is mega wealthy would have. So he has validated his story. So, Derek, they got housing because of their Invisible People video, or? Wow. So how did it come about because of Invisible People? Somebody, the city saw it, or? Okay, folks, we're coming down to a couple of minutes. Well, I'm going to put up, her name is Cynthia tomorrow. I was going to give it a little, maybe I'll put yours up later in the week. You made your deal with the city. Woo! Gosh, I better put it up soon then, right? Before you're, I am so happy. I'm happy for Kim too, Kim and Boo. Okay, folks, it's been an hour. I'm going to say see ya. Thank you very much for a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful hour. As usual, I really, really enjoy this. There's a very nice woman that emails me on Sunday mornings. I hope she's listening. She doesn't participate in the chat, but I have a feeling she's there. She's also a supporter of our work, and I am greatly, hey, I sang. It is. Homelessness is becoming more visible everywhere. So we're coming down to a couple of seconds here. I greatly appreciate the donation, although we don't do these chats to raise money. And I will be on next week. I will be in California. I'll post. Check the community tab. I will let you know on Saturday if there's going to be a live stream to next week. Okay, everybody. Hey, you guys have a marvelous week. Thank you for making my evening special. Stay safe.